Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to see some of the interview question asked in many interviews. So first, I will start with here how to disable auto configuration for a specific class. So to disable auto configuration for specific class, we use exclude annotation inside our main applications. Spring Boot application exclude equal to which annotation we want, means which class we want, that we can add here. So here we see data source auto configuration. So it will disable data source auto configuration from the auto configuration in Spring Boot. Let's see with one example here. Here I have one application. I have added Spring Security here. Let's run this first. Here, if you see this Spring Security generated this one password. So I want to disable this Spring Security. What I will do, I will use disable here. If you see one class is there, user detail service auto configuration. Just we need to add this class inside our main applications. Just go inside main application. We need to add annotation here at the rate exclude, and inside this exclude we need to add this class. So it will disable auto configuration. Now let's rerun this application again, and this time it will not generate this password. So let's let it start. So this application is started. This time this class is excluded from the auto configuration, and it won't generated the Spring Security password for us. So like this way we can remove a specific class from the auto configuration in Spring Boot. So next question here is, what is at the rate controller annotation? So at the rate controller advice is a specialization of the component annotation in Spring, which allow you to define global exception handling. So whenever we want to handle any exception globally, at that time we will use this at the rate controller advice. And other cross-cutting concern for this controller, we can use this. So where we can use at the rate controller advice at global exception handler. So this will exception handler will handle this resource not found exception class, and it will throw this exception to the this at the rate controller advice. Here if we see inside, I have created one class that is global exception handler, and over above that I have used this at the rate controller advice. So any exception occur in our application, that will be handled by these annotations. Next question we are going to see here, what is the purpose of Spring Boot Spring application dot run. So Spring application dot run method is entry point of Spring Boot application. It will start our Spring application, and it initialize bin and start embedded web server if that is applicable. So here we are, this is used in our application. If you go inside Spring Boot application, this Spring application dot run will run our application. Here if we see in this example, Spring application dot run, my application dot class will start the application. Then next question is, what is the difference between at the rate component, at the rate service, at the rate repository, and at the rate controller in Spring Boot? So at the rate component is a generic stereotype, any Spring managed component. It can be used to mark any class as a Spring bin. Means we use at the rate component or any Spring class. Suppose this is my class, my component. So this class will be act as a Spring bin. So Spring container will handle the life cycle of this bin. It will create, destroy, it will initialize this bin automatically by Spring container. Then service is a specialization of component used to indicate that the class contain business logic. It used to mark service class as a service layer. So this is the specialization of component. At the rate service is a specialization of component, and it indicate that class contain business logic. It used to mark service class as a service layer. So this will mark service class as a service layer. So here if we see, I have used my service, or I have used this at the rate service, and we can write our business logic inside this my service class. Then repository is a specialization of component used to indicate that class is a data access object. So This will indicate that the class is data access objects, means we can interact with database related operation and we can handle database queries with the help of at the rate repository annotations. And then at the rate repository, here if we see inside this, we can write our code. Then controller, a specialization of component is to define web controller. So basically it will handle all the web requests in our applications. And most importantly, we use this in a web applications. So here if we see, I have one get mapping that will map my class to the slash hello, and this class will act as a controller in our applications. And then next, how we can create custom Spring Boot starter. So to create a custom Spring Boot starter, we need to start we need to create first our application. Then inside our application meta inf folder, we need to create this Spring Factories file in your starter project and define auto configuration classes. So we can define that. Here is the property file that will define enable auto configuration and the class name. Then once we have created auto configuration on the create configuration class in your starter, that will automatically configured. So here if we see conditional on class my service, that is using at the rate auto configuration. Then this my service is act as a bin, and once we have defined our class, it is returning my service. Once we have defined, we need to return, we need to package our application as a jar, and we need to add this my custom starter in our application. How that is how we can create custom starter in our Spring Boot application. That's all from this video, guys. I hope you gain some knowledge from this. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel.